Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are going to discuss another chapter of this course, which is linear inequation. You know that equation is simply an expression containing an equality sign. You also know that we can classify equations in the number of ways, like on the basis of a number of terms we can classify the equations like monomials, binomials, trinomials, or on the basis of degree we can classify the those equations like linear equation whose degree is 1, quadratic whose degree is 2, cubic degree is 3, and biquadratic degree is 4. Now here we will discuss the linear equations which you studied in class 10th and 9th. Now linear equations, that equations whose degree is 1, is simply called as the linear equations, and we have one linear equations with one variable like 2x plus 3, 2x equals to 3. Its degree is 1 and it contains only one variable. So in plan it simply represents a point on a number line like 2x equals to 3. So it simply represents, or its solution simply represents, a point x equals to 3 by 2, which is a real number on a real line. And we have, if equation linear equations contains two variable like x plus 2y equals to 6, so it represents, or solution, its solution represents the straight line in the plan. Now if these two equations here, both these expressions, this first and second, contains equality sign, that is why it is called equation. Now if in place of equality we have inequality signs here, and we have four inequality signs, which is less than, greater than, less or equals to, and greater or equals to. Now if these two expressions contains these four signs, then we cannot say that these are the linear equations, but we have to, we call these expressions as linear inequations. So simply an expression containing an equality, and we have four types of equalities, which is less than, greater than, less or equals to, greater or equals to. Such very expression is called as the linear inequations. Like in when one variable 2x less than 3, this is a linear inequation in one variable. 4x greater than 5, this is another inequation. 9x less or equals to 3, or 9x greater or equals to 5. Here in first these two linear inequations in one variable, because there is only one variable, we have strict inequality. That is why these inequations are called as the strict inequalities. Now if we have here 9x less or equals to 3, 9x greater or equals to 5, these are called as the slack inequalities. So slack inequalities are those which contains this less or equals to, or greater or equals to inequality in two variables like 2x plus 3y less or equals to 5, 5x plus 4y greater or equals to 4. Here degree of variable is 1 and it contains two variables. That is why these expressions are called as the linear inequations in two variables. We have also the inequality in numbers, like if we consider 3, it is always greater than 1, like 5, it is always less than 9, 10, 11. So these inequations or inequalities are called as the numerical inequations or numerical inequalities. While as with variables, like these inequations, here we have variables. These inequations contains variables. Such inequations which contains variables are simply called as the lateral inequalities. Now if we consider this inequality 2 less than 5x less than 4, here we have two signs, inequality signs. So this is simply called as the double inequality. Now what is solution of a linear equation? Solution of a linear equation simply means the set of, or those values of x, or those values of x and y, or simply those values of variable which satisfy the given equation is called as the solution of a given linear equation. But here inequality, in inequality, solution is those values or any value of a variable or variables which makes the given inequality as a true statement, or a true statement is called as simply a solution. Like if we consider 2x less than 5, if we put x equals to 1, then 2 into 1 is 2, which is always less than 5. So this means that when x is equal to 1, this makes this statement first as true statement, so we can say that this x equals to 1 is the solution. Similarly, x equals to 2, because 2 into 2, which is 4, less than 5. So when we put x equals to 2 in this equation first, it also makes it as this true statement. That is why x equals to 2 is also a solution. Now this solution, that is x equals to 1, x equals to 2, it depends upon the number system. That is, we can simply say that the solution of this linear inequation depends upon the number system. All the algebraic laws are also applicable in the inequalities also. Like when we transfer a positive number from in an equation from left to right, it gets converted into from plus to minus, so it changes sign while transferring from one side to another side. Similarly, in inequalities, this when we transfer the positive number or negative number, those numbers change their signs. Now we will simply start this exercise 6.1, and the question first is solve an inequation for 24x less than 100 when x is natural and when x is real. Now when x is natural, this means that x equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to check, we have to find the values from this natural set which satisfies the given inequality. Now 24x less than 100, which implies that x is less than 100 upon 24, which is simply 25 upon 6, which is 4.17. So this means that we have to find those numbers from real number, from this set of natural number, which are less than 4.14. We know that the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are the only numbers which belongs to set of natural numbers and which are less than 4.14. That is why this set x equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 is simply the solution set. Similarly, if when x is real, when x is real, so this means that x here, restriction on x is that x should be less than 4.17. So this means that actually the solution set is the set of all natural numbers which are less than 4.14. Hence x belongs to, we can simply say that at that time when x is real, x belongs to minus infinity to 1.47. 4.17 is simply the solution set, because there are infinitely many numbers which are less than 4.17. That is why we say that the solution of this linear inequation depends upon the underlying set. Like if we consider another inequality, minus 12x greater than 30, when x is integer, we have to find the integers when x which satisfies this inequality. Now minus 12x less than 30, which implies that 12x is less than minus 30, which implies that at x is less than minus 30 upon 12, which is minus 2.5. So this means that the solution set, we have to consider a solutions from integer, and we have to select those integers which are less than minus 2.5. So this means that actually this set of all negative integers which are less than minus 2.5, which is negative numbers, that is negative natural this integers up to minus 3. Because if we consider x equals to 2 and minus 2 is always greater than minus 2.5, but x should be less than minus 2.5. That is why this solution set contains the negative integers up to minus 3. Now if here x is natural, which implies that we have to consider those naturals which are less than minus 2.5, but we know that naturals are always positive, so there does not exist any natural which is less than minus 2.5. that is, there does not exist a solution for this linear inequation in set of natural numbers, which implies that solution set is actually this empty set when x is natural. Now another problem is 3x plus 8 is greater than 2, which implies that 3x is greater than 2 minus 8, that is 3x is greater than minus 6, or x is greater than minus 2. When x is integer, which implies that we have to consider those integers which are greater than minus 2, and those integers are actually minus 1, 0, 1, 2 onwards. So this means that this is the required set of solutions when x is natural and when x satisfies 3x plus 8 greater than 2. So in this way you can solve the linear inequations in single variable of this type. Inshallah, in tomorrow's video lecture we will discuss few more problems. Thank you.